Okay, so get this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Transcendence. Yeah,
Transcendence.
the sci-fi film from like 2014.
Ah, right, with Johnny Depp.
Exactly. And we're not talking plot points here. This deep dive, it's all about the tech stuff, the nuts and bolts of how they made this mind-bending story come to life on the big screen.
Sounds cool.
It is. We've got some seriously interesting source material here, like interviews with the filmmakers, articles about the visual effects.
We're going to find out what went on behind the scenes.
You got it.
Ah.
We're going to unpack how they blended CGI and live action, created those wild digital environments, and even made nanotechnology look visually stunning.
Nanotechnology, huh? It's got to be tough to show on screen.
Oh, absolutely. But they managed to make it both believable and visually captivating. It's like they were able to give us a glimpse into a world where tiny machines can manipulate matter on a molecular level. Pretty wild, right?
Probably.
And the source material emphasizes how much work went into those digital humans they created using motion capture.
Yeah, I remember those. They were super realistic.
They were, like, unsettlingly so. And to achieve that, they had to capture every single detail. You know, the way the actors move, their facial expressions, even the tiny nuances of their performance, it's mind-blowing.
It must have been like playing a video game character come to life.
Right. Imagine being on set with these digital beings that look and move just like real people. It's like blurring the lines between reality and the digital world.
I bet the actors had to adjust their performance style, too.
I'm sure they did. It must have been a unique challenge acting alongside characters that don't actually exist in the physical space.
So we've got amazing visuals, but what about the sound? You can't have a film about consciousness inside a computer without some seriously cool sound design, right?
Oh, the sound design is incredible. It's like they created a whole new sonic language for this world where human consciousness exists within a computer.
So like digital echoes and stuff.
Yeah, even more than that, they have these things called AI whispers and data streams, which are like, I don't even know how to describe them. They're these weird, otherworldly sounds that really give you a sense of the vastness and complexity of the digital world.
And it's not just random noises, right? They must have put a lot of thought into how those sounds would make the audience feel.
Absolutely. The sources talk about how they wanted the sound to evoke a sense of unease, like this feeling that something is slightly off kilter. It's like the sound event itself is mirroring the unsettling nature of the story.
So they're using sound to tell the story, not just to add background noise.
Exactly. And that unease is further amplified by the film's music. Michael Dana, the composer, created this haunting, atmospheric score that really gets under your skin.
I love his work. He always brings such a unique sound to his projects.
Oh, me too. And in Transcendence, his score perfectly captures the film's dark themes and the emotional turmoil of the characters. It's like the music is another character in the film, adding another layer of depth and complexity.
It sounds like they pulled out all the stops to create this immersive experience.
They did. But it's not just about the sound and music. The sources also highlight how they used unconventional camera angles and movements to add to the film's unsettling vibe.
Oh, interesting. Like what kind of unconventional stuff?
Well, think like long, lingering shots that make you feel a little uncomfortable or sudden shifts in perspective that disorient you. It's like the camera work itself is reflecting the film's themes of technological advancement, pushing the boundaries of what we consider human.
So they're using the camera to make you feel what the characters are feeling.
Precisely. It's all about creating an immersive experience that goes beyond just watching a movie. It's about feeling it on a visceral level.
I like that. It's like they're not just telling a story, they're inviting you to experience it.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the lighting. They used a lot of high contrast, moody lighting, which is pretty different from the bright, colorful palettes you usually see in sci-fi.
Why do you think they did that?
Well, the sources suggest it's to visually represent the ethical and moral shadows that lurk within the film's narrative. It's like they're saying, hey, there's a dark side to all this technological advancement, and we're not afraid to show it.
It's like they're using darkness to symbolize the unknown, the potential dangers of this technology.
Exactly. And they use light and shadow to visually separate the digital world from the real world, which adds another layer of visual interest and thematic depth to the film.
It sounds like they really thought about every detail, from the sound to the visuals, to tell this complex story.
They did. And we can't forget about the editing, which was crucial in keeping this complex narrative coherent. They had to manage these multiple storylines, jumping back and forth in time, but it never feels confusing.
Yeah, time travel stories can get messy real fast if they're not handled carefully.
Oh, totally. But in Transcendence, the editing is seamless. It flows so smoothly, and the pacing is perfect. It keeps you engaged, like you're constantly on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen next.
So the editing is like the glue that holds the whole film together.
Exactly. It's the invisible hand that guides you through this complex and thought-provoking narrative.
I'm starting to see why this film is considered so groundbreaking.
It really is. And we haven't even talked about the art direction yet, which is another key element in creating a believable futuristic world.
What was so special about the art direction?
Well, they had to create these believable environments, right? From high-tech research facilities to these vast digital realms. And they managed to do it with such incredible detail. It's like you can step right into this world and believe that it could actually exist.
And did they go for the typical flashy sci-fi look?
Actually, no, and this is where it gets interesting. The costumes, for example, are very minimalist and functional. It's almost like they're deliberately downplaying individual identities in a world where technology is becoming so dominant. It makes you think about what it means to be human in a world where technology is so integrated into our lives.
That's a really interesting observation. It's like they're saying that technology is becoming the defining characteristic, not our individual personalities.
Exactly. And that ties into the film's larger themes of artificial intelligence, consciousness, and what it means to be human. The source material really emphasizes how Transcendence isn't just a sci-fi thriller, it's a film that makes you think about the ethical and philosophical implications of our relentless pursuit of technological advancement.
It sounds like they're asking some tough questions about the future of humanity.
They are, and the film doesn't offer any easy answers. It just presents these complex ideas and challenges you to grapple with them.
And does it do it in a way that feels preachy or heavy-handed?
Not at all. It's a very nuanced and thought-provoking exploration of these themes, and it does it through these well-rounded characters with complex motivations. You empathize with them, you understand their choices, even if you don't agree with them.
So it's a film that engages your mind and your emotions.
Absolutely. It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll.
So even though the film has some flaws, like maybe it's a bit too ambitious in its storytelling, it sounds like it's still a worthwhile watch.
Oh, definitely. It's a visually stunning, sonically immersive, and intellectually stimulating film that pushes the boundaries of what cinema can achieve. It's a film that dares to ask big questions and explore uncharted territory.
And it might even spark some fascinating conversations after you watch it.
For sure. Like, imagine experiencing your consciousness expanding into that vast digital realm they depict in the film. What would that feel like? Would it be terrifying, exhilarating, or maybe a bit of both?
It's like stepping into the unknown. Who knows what we might discover?
Exactly. And that's the beauty of Transcendence. It leaves you with more questions than answers, and it challenges you to imagine the possibilities. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a wild ride.
I think I'll add it to my watch list.
You should. You won't regret it. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to take your own deep dive into the world of artificial intelligence and the future of humanity.
That sounds like a pretty deep dive.
It is. But hey, that's what we do here. We explore the fascinating and sometimes unsettling intersections between technology and humanity. And Transcendence is a perfect example of a film that dives headfirst into that intersection.
Well, thanks for taking me on this deep dive. I learned a lot.
Anytime. And thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of film and technology.